Black American cool. Y'all ain't even cool. You swagless. Dweebs. Yeah, I said it. So what? And I've been saying it, and I'm gonna continue to say it.
Okay, guys, so honestly, this is like the 5th time I've like recorded this video. I've been going back and forth, just overthinking it. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just gonna let it out. This video is gonna be super cathartic for me because it's been on my mind, it's been on my heart for like 2 weeks. So I'm just gonna get this out the way, say what I have to say, and just call it a day. So basically, this video is about this YouTuber. Her name is Seren. Her actual YouTube name, like, I'm gonna be honest, I can't say it, so I'm not about to butcher it. But I'll have it somewhere on the screen. Basically, this is kind of like a response video. I'm gonna try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. But about 2 weeks ago, she made this video called "Car Video We're Different," and let me tell you, I like really looked up to her in the sense that I loved how she was opinionated and unapologetically opinionated, and just always so vocal. I first discovered her on the Grapevine. If you don't know what the Grapevine is, you guys should totally subscribe to them. It's basically this awesome YouTube channel where a bunch of just super educated, super woke black and brown young adults talk about a whole bunch of different issues. And you know, so that's where I first discovered her on, and I always loved what she had to say. Like, you know, some people on there, like, honestly, they're just backwards, but she would always like check them and put them in check. So that's what I always loved about her. So then I found out she had a YouTube channel. I was like, yes, sweet, like 24/7 unlimited access to her thoughts and her views and just her talking and just being woke. I loved her channel. But then when I saw this video and I watched all 28 minutes of it, I was like, whoa, this is so different, you know, because this is not the Simran that I know, you know. So to make a long story short, I'll link the video down below, and maybe I'll include like a few clips of the 28 minutes.
So many of y'all still play a role as it is in fucking taking shit away from us, which I've talked about in other videos. Coming over here trying to put on African American hoodness, whatever, like a fucking coat. Oh, well, I live here now, so I'm just gonna fucking check off African American on the motherfucking census, and I'm gonna take advantage of all these fucking programs that are meant to be for the descendants of American chattel slavery and claim to be us, so that y'all can get what we have. Even though you didn't go through what we went through, you didn't work like we did. Y'all just want to come take advantage. That's some culture vulture shit, is it not? Playing the mom in fucking Moonlight. Coming over here to fucking play us, creeping up, popping. I go look at the name. I be like, Nigerian name. I'm not reading this shit. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care what you think. Like, and everybody want to fucking stand on the backs of Black Americans and fucking ride us into the promised land like we fucking donkeys or some shit. I'm divisive. Like, it's right there in the about section on my fucking page. Like,
pretty much making a video being divisive and talking about how, you know, not only do white people and other groups take from Black American culture and look down on them, even though they take from their culture, but also Caribbeans and continental Africans who come to this country do the same thing. And that was her opinion, and she, of course, she talked about a whole bunch of other things about how foreign blacks, as she calls them, take opportunities that are meant for Black Americans. She said a whole bunch of stuff. And, you know, all I did was commented down below because, you know, she said a lot and I was like shocked by a lot of it. And kind of offended by like a few points because I do have immigrant parents who came here from Jamaica. So, you know, but I made sure that when I commented on the video, I didn't call her out of her name, like not one bit. Like, I made sure that, you know, I just stated my opinion just from my perspective, because at the end of the day, she's talking from her perspective. Even though I mean I agree with everything that she was saying, it's still just like that's her perspective and that's her view of things, just like I have my view of things. And so I feel like I'm in a unique position because I'm a first generation American, but my parents are immigrants, so I could understand both sides. So, you know, I just commented. I didn't comment anything crazy, but Basically, I said, I don't even know where to start, but in my 22 years of living in this country, I haven't seen one black foreigner take anything from black Americans. Maybe that's just my experience. All I've seen are people like my mother coming from the gutters of Jamaica, leaving everything she knows to come to this beautiful country for a better chance at life. Most of the nurses and nurses' aides here in New York City wiping poop and doing jobs that no African American would even be willing to do are black foreigners, working 2 to 3 jobs just to put their children through college. Being born in this country and talking to African and West Indian immigrants, I realize how privileged we are here in the States. It's ridiculous, but regardless of that, I need you to do a video on the Asian immigrants who own 95% of every business in every black hood. Of course, that's not a legit statistic, but I was over exaggerating. But I was basically just trying to make a point that in the black neighborhoods, we see a lot of Asian immigrants who own a lot of the businesses and own a lot of the services that we use. For some reason, like in every black neighborhood, you'll see like a dozen Chinese restaurants in the neighborhood, even more than you'll see like soul food or like African food or Caribbean food. Like you'll see mostly like Chinese food, nail salons, weave stores, beauty supply stores, corner stores, gas stations, like everything. I'm not saying that's an issue, and I'm not saying anything negative about those group of immigrants. I think they're doing exactly what they should be doing. As an immigrant coming here, you have to take as much opportunities as you can to benefit yourself, your family, maybe even your family back home in your native country. But I was just saying, if you really want to talk about a group of people who may or may not be benefiting from that black American dollar, or just benefiting from the community as a whole without putting anything back into the community, I was saying, why haven't you talked about the Asian community? Because that's the most obvious community that we could talk about. You know, personally, I haven't seen one black neighborhood in my life that has like a dozen Jamaican restaurants or a dozen African dry cleaners. And if that was the case, then I could see where she's coming from about those group of people coming here and just taking from the community. And you know, so that's basically what I was trying to tell her. Like, can I please see you do a video on that? You know what I mean? That would make more sense rather than just trying to divide black against black. Like, that's not really helping. But yeah, it's basically like, if you really care about your ancestors, you should come up with solutions instead of pointing fingers at other descendants of slaves who just happen to have foreign accents, because that's really all it is. I feel like there's so many things that already divide us in the black community, colorism being one of them, and there's so many other things. I feel like for someone as influential and for someone who has such a powerful voice as her, I felt like it was really irresponsible for her to say such a thing. You know, I understand she's probably in her feelings, but sis, take your feelings out on the right people, or maybe take your feelings out on your own people. That person. But I would like to hear her talk about accountability. You know, how it's okay and it's fun and it's cute to play the victim and to point fingers as, you know, you're the reason why I'm in this position and it's your fault and your fault and your fault. But there has to be a point where you're accountable and you have to say, okay, what can the community do for itself? What can the community change about itself to better everyone, to better each other? You know, so I feel like that would have been a better video and a more helpful video that her people, that black Americans actually need in this day and age. That's basically all I said. I didn't call her out her name once. I didn't call her crazy. I didn't call her a fool. I didn't call her a coon. Like, I didn't call her any of that. That's all I said. I just said my piece. The only thing I called her was sis, and that wasn't trying to be arrogant, or I didn't say that sarcastically. Like, I said sis as in I see you as my sis. Growing up, even growing up with immigrants, from a black immigrant family, like, I was raised to acknowledge, no matter where we come from, sisters and brothers. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we may come from different backgrounds, but we're all sisters and brothers. We're all black, and at the end of the day, they all see us the same. So I called her sis. That's all I did. And her response shook me, y'all. Like, her response really shook me. All she said was, y'all are really on crack about us. So all I did was give my opinion. I just gave my perspective, and I'm on crack now. Like, I also forgot to mention that she ended up blocking me on YouTube, and basically that made me realize that she basically wasn't up for discussion. This wasn't anything up for discussion. She didn't want to hear anyone else's views. Like I said, I wasn't being rude to her or mean to her. I was just giving my point, and she ended up blocking me. So okay, I was surprised by that, because like I said, this girl is someone who's been on the grapevine multiple times, and if you're familiar with the grapevine, you know that everyone is so open to discussion. Like, that's what they do on the grapevine. Like, they discuss all these issues, and even though like you'll have people from the far left to the far right, but they're both able to discuss intelligently their points. And so her having that background, I really thought she was gonna hit me with a, I expected her to not agree with me, but I expected her to at least disagree with me intelligently, not tell me that I'm on crack. And for me, like, I'll probably name this video like Seren Exposed, but it's not to drag her. It's just that this exposed me to who the real Seren is, and it's not someone who is for the black community. It's not someone who is for even black Americans, because if she was really for black Americans, she would know that being this divisive is probably the most detrimental thing that she could do for her own people, because at the end of the day, in this large country, we are only 13% of the population. So the last thing you want to do is to divide yourselves even more and kind of isolate yourselves from an entire other group of black immigrants who could help your cause, and who do help your cause, and who have helped your cause for decades. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I wanted to say. I don't know if she'll see this video. I know that a lot of people agreed with her, and that's fine, but one thing is, we could agree to disagree, or we could have a heated debate in the comment section, but I'm never gonna say you're on crack, or like, I'm never gonna do that. Another thing that surprised me about that is, usually people name call who are unintelligent. Like, usually when you're in a debate with someone and they revert to name calling, it's because they don't have a response to you. It's because they can't think of a educated rebuttal, so they say, oh, but you're ugly. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah, but you're dumb. Okay, so like I said, her being the intelligent, well-spoken person that she is, I really didn't expect that from her. So another thing is, I find it also very funny how she can talk all of this crap about people of the African diaspora, but she wasn't keeping the same energy on the grapevine. Why didn't she go to Ashley Akuna's face and tell her, hey sis, when I read something from a Nigerian, even though you're Nigerian, I really don't care. I could care less. Like, why didn't she say it then? She sure as hell didn't have a problem with people of the diaspora when she was using their platform for her own clout and to spread her own ideology, right? Another interesting point is the fact that her screen name for her YouTube, her channel name is Sensei Aishitemasu, and that's basically Japanese. And for someone who is so obsessed and so adamant about being pro-black or pro-African American, she chose a Japanese phrase as her YouTube name, which actually means I love you, teacher, I love you, elder. But let's be honest, the only thing she loves is to hear herself speak, her divisiveness and her nonsense. So I think the real question that I have for her is, sis, who hurt you? Because clearly this isn't a me thing, this isn't a Caribbean thing, an African thing. This is not related to anybody other than you and your inner problems. So, maybe while I was out, smoking crack, since I'm a crackhead, maybe while I was smoking crack, you were, engaging in some Jamaican or African, cocky, and the man leave you or something like that, and you're upset now. Because really, like I said, it makes no sense. And it just seems like it's very personal for you, and I understand you're hurt, but that's you and whoever hurt you problem. That's not a us problem, and you really shouldn't generalize the whole entire population based on your dickmatization. I'm happy I got that out. It was cathartic. It hurts me, but this changes my view on her. You guys can tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.